James Copley. I'm a journalist for the Sunderland Echo. I'm going to do a little reaction video to Sunderland's 1-0 loss to Hull City at the Stadium of Light in the Championship last night. I was there. There is a lot to talk about and a lot to discuss. Sunderland obviously losing the game to a deflected Fabio Carvalho shot. I don't think Sunderland really deserved anything out of the game. They did start okay, but as time went on, it became lethargic, turgid. It was a really hard watch at times. It was actually quite boring at times. I thought Jack Clarke looked Sunderland's brightest player, to be honest with you. I thought Rusyn, who was restored to the side over Abdullah Bar, was a tough assignment for him. It was another tough afternoon for him. At the end of the day, he's quite a short striker compared to what Sunderland have had previously with the likes of Ross Stewart and Ellis Sims. And he was up against two big centre-halves. It didn't really get too many players close to him. Job was playing in the attacking midfield role. He didn't get close enough to him. Pritchard, who started on the right, was drifting in, and Sunderland's attack looked quite fluid in the first half, but they just couldn't get any purchase. And for me, I think Hull probably on balance just about deserved to win the game. I was really impressed with Liam Rosenior after the game. He's a really bright, young, intelligent coach, and he actually said that he thought that was Hull City's worst performance of the season. So to come up to Sunderland, perform poorly and still get the win, they're absolutely delighted. They are absolutely riddled with injury issues as well. There was no Connolly. Their left winger, who's very highly rated, was out. Liam Delap was out. There's another 2 or 3 that he mentioned in the press conference. I think the big story, though, regarding this game and the big talking point is that large sections of the Stadium of Light crowd did turn against Michael Beale. Now, I think this is really significant because we're only 7 games in to his reign as Sunderland manager. He replaced Tony Mowbray towards the back end of 2023. It was always going to be very difficult for him to replace such a popular figure. Now, let's not rewrite history here. I think the worst sections of Sunderland's fan base that were happy to see Tony Mowbray go, they thought that he'd performed his job and that he'd taken the club as far as he could. Now, not everybody was happy with that decision to sack Tony Mowbray, and it wasn't universal. It did split the fan base to a degree. But I think we need to get away from this notion that not everybody wanted Tony Mowbray sacked, because there were a couple of notable large portions of the Sunderland support that didn't want him sacked. I think the frustration comes is because Tony Mowbray was a very effective and popular communicator. Sunderland played front foot football, and when Tony Mowbray was sacked, I think Sunderland fans assumed that they would be getting an upgrade, a head coach who was young and exciting, basically in the Will Still model, and it's understood really that that's who Sunderland would have liked. They couldn't get him. They didn't want to pay the compensation, so Michael Beale was the second choice. He's only won 2 in 7 games. That's a big problem. Sunderland are now down to 8th. The stated aim was promotion by Christian Speakman. I know Sunderland have got a 5-year plan, but they have mentioned the promotion word. That's the aim, that's the goal. It's now Sunderland's longest ever stint outside of the top flight in its entire history, so it's not unreasonable to want Sunderland to get back to the top tier. But it's tough times for Sunderland at the moment. I think what we must note as well is that, yes, tactically, I think Michael Beale could have done better. Certainly this team under Michael Beale could have done better. There's a few things to note. I think sort of the first 2 or 3 weeks of his tenure, he didn't get too much time on the training field. But now he actually has had a little bit of time on the training pitch. I think another thing to note is recruitment. Do Sunderland have the players to change the game? Does Michael Beale have what he needs at the moment? Has Christian Speakman delivered a squad good enough at present? To me, no. I think the squad needs a little bit of a refresh. It needs some stardust. I know Ahmad's not likely to come, but it needs somebody of that ilk to really, really set things alight at the Stadium of Light. So I think failure is always collective, and you have to have collective responsibility. Has Michael Beale been good enough? No. But has he had a squad provided to him by this recruitment team and by this model? No. I also think what is playing in the minds of fans and affecting the mood, and rightly so, is the debacle at Sunderland over the past couple of months. You had the Newcastle debacles. Newcastle were handed a 6,000 allocation. The red carpet was rolled out for them. There was the foray with the Black Cats bar. All of that was an absolute disgrace. And then Sunderland's commercial side has been sorely lacking. It's hard to get a ticket. They've had to issue apologies when it comes to Ticketmaster. It's very hard to get a shirt. It's very hard to get in contact with anybody at the club when it comes to the commercial side. If you have an issue with your ticket, that's all very difficult. These are key roles of a functioning football club, and I think that is contributing to the mood around the Stadium of Light at the moment. And I'm not trying to excuse Michael Beale. I'm not trying to sort of give him an out. I'm just saying that at the moment there's a lot of factors contributing to a pretty, glum mood on Weir's side. And you have to take a holistic view of the club. And I think when you do that, you will understand where Sunderland fans are at, because at the moment it's not good. And in truth, Sunderland as a club have really shot themselves in the foot, I think, over the past sort of 2 months. All of this was avoidable. The whole Newcastle debacle was avoidable. Could they have handled the head coach transition better? Did they need to sack Tony Mowbray? Probably not. Hindsight is a wonderful thing. You also have to say that Sunderland have been a little bit unlucky with injuries. Obviously, Alessi missed out. Huggins is out. Sirkin is out. Patrick Roberts is out. Corey Evans is still out. So there is that to consider as well. But for me at the moment, Michael Beale, not good enough. Sunderland, not really good enough at the moment. And to make matters worse, Michael Beale was asked about a potential arrival of Yann M'Vila in his post-match press conference. His exact words were, Yann M'Vila, it's nothing I've discussed in-house. So that doesn't look like it's close at the moment. Michael Beale did also address those chants from Sunderland fans after the game in his post-match press conference. And basically the gist of it was he implored Sunderland fans to get behind the team, which I don't think has gone down well, because Sunderland fans always tend to get behind the team. And I think the frustration was generally aimed at him and not the team. So from what I've seen on social media, that hasn't gone down too well, and understandably so. So those are sort of my thoughts on the game. A little bit of an update for you there as well. There's so much content that we've produced over the past 24 hours over on the Sunderland Echo website. Myself, Phil Smith, Joe Nicholson, there's player ratings. There's also another YouTube channel, the Sunderland Echo YouTube channel. Me and Phil hosted a Q&A. There's all sorts of content to consume if you would like. But please let me know what your thoughts are in the comments section. How are you feeling, Sunderland fans? Are you Michael Beale in? Are you Michael Beale out? Do you think this situation is salvageable? Do you think he'll last the season? What are your thoughts? Are you becoming apathetic? Let me know in the comments. We'll have a discussion. And if you can hit the like and the subscribe button, that would be absolutely class. We're now past 600 subscribers, which I'm absolutely buzzing about. So thank you very much. I've been James Copley, and thank you very much for watching the channel again.